Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. This is Gray's Guitars. Thank you for watching. I hope you had a happy New Year / New Year's Eve. No, I enjoyed my time. My foot's bothering me a little bit, but that that is nothing new. Just bringing the pain into the new year with the Achilles tendonitis. But without further ado, let's talk about Marshall and what the heck are they doing? Because nobody really knows right now what Marshall is doing. They don't. I don't think they have a modular. Slash is still technically with them, but if you go to their actual website, you would think, oh, Slash is going to be on the front page, and no, Slash is not. You have Marshall amps, Natel drums, Lifestyle, which it seems like they're going to a lot of like the headphones and the speakers. After Zound bought them out back last March. And then you have Marshall Studio, Records, Live. So, I mean, they're like a recording studio type thing, too. They have some pedals, old style pedals they brought back. Those were all the rage. And then they kind of died off, I would say. I mean, you can still buy them. But, I would assume to see, like, Slash and Jimi Hendrix and Angus Young, like, the second I open this website. And, no, you got to actually look for them if you want to find them. But let's go ahead and see what the old, I believe it's the CEO here, is saying. So it sounds ambitious, but with the brand that we have, I have no concern about us becoming a multi-billion-dollar company. Marshall Chief Exec Jeremy D. Millard, bullish about Amp Brand's growth. So best of 2023. After Zound bought Marshall in March of this year, fans of the Stored Amp Company asked what's next. According to the Marshall Group chief exec, growth is next and lots of it. So let's see. It was the biggest guitar amp story of the year. Over 60 years of family ownership, Marshall had been sold to the Swedish speaker company Zound Industries, and with both brands to be trading henceforth as the Marshall Group. The mood music around the takeover deal was all positive. The family would command a 24% share in Marshall Group and be the largest shareholder. Just a few months later, Marshall debated the Studio JTM, the smart retro style 20-watt tube amp collection, its first major amp release since the deal was made. There still remains a degree of uncertainty as to how much of the company's focus would be trained on designing new products for guitarists, or whether the Marshall consumer line Bluetooth speakers, headphones would be prioritized. But in the recent interview with the Times, Jeremy indicated that the company did not just want to grow the amp side of the business, but needed to in order to make gains across the board. I mean, yeah, a lot of people know Marshall for amps. Like, when you say Marshall, I don't think clothing store. Some people do. I think guitar amps. Jimi Hendrix, Angus Young, Slash, to name, I think those are kind of like the big three. I don't really know any modern artists that are currently playing a Marshall. I cannot think of any off the top of my head. Maybe Lee Malda. I can't remember what he's the guy with the custom Epiphones. I can't remember the name of the band that he's in. Let's look that up for you. Lee, Malida. He is the guitarist for something. Guitarist. Here we go. Guitarist for who? Bring Me to the Horizon. There we go. Had a brain fart there for a minute. So, a lot of times these acquisitions involve cost cutting, and I'll talk about that in a second too. Here it's completely complementary. There's almost no overlap, and where there is, it's something we need to grow. Manufacturing is the heartbeat of the company. When you walk through, you see people who have been here for 35 years. The craftsmanship is so nice, so powerful. We need to do more here to enhance the legacy. So it sounds like they're doing a little bit of a turnaround. I feel like a lot of Gibson-y terms are being used here. So far, the signs are good on the legacy front. Not only is the Studio JTM a faithful, taking the iconic vintage amp, it was released just in time to mark the late Jim Marshall's 100th birthday, demonstrating that the new ownership remained aware of the landmarks in Marshall history and a sign that the heritage of the brand would be preserved. Marshall budget amp lines continue to be made in Vietnam, like they have. That was one of my first Marshalls. I had two of them. Actually, the first one I had was an AVT 50. It was a ATV 50H, so it was the head and the cab half stack. That was my first, what I will call, real amp. That wasn't a tiny practice amp. And then I also had a Marshall MG100 FX, whatever the heck you call it, full stack for a little while, with the two, I think it was 4x10s. So according to the Times, Marshall UK manufacturing headquarters employs 200 people, which is good. And he's talking about prioritizing manufacturing. Adding those numbers, it would be reasonable to assume that we can expect more new products. There are more amps in the Marshall catalog that could get the studio treatment scaled down, made more compact, updated with modern features such as effects loop speakers, emulated DI outputs. I think a lot of people would enjoy that. So there's a lot of guitarists out there, including myself at the moment, that would love the Marshall sound in a smaller package. And what a lot of people do is they will buy a non-Marshall brand pedal like I have, the Golden Plexi. It's a mini pedal in order to emulate that sound, because you can hook it up to your smaller amp. You can not annoy the crap out of your neighbors, which statistically you probably have some neighbors, and you don't have to crank the old 50 watt plus half stack and vibrate every window in your house. So we yet to see Marshall fully commit to digital. It is not out with the realm of possibility that they release an amp modular. As I said, they don't have one. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought one out, building upon the modeling tech deployed across Marshall Code series. Yeah, so some people like the Code series. They say it's kind of like a modern take on the MG series that they used to have. I don't think they make MG series anymore, to my knowledge. Some people like it, some people hate it. I basically view it as another Boss Katana. I think it's a perfectly fine amp, and if you want to buy one and use it, I mean, there you go. You got a bunch of sounds built in. Perhaps we will see these products sooner rather than later. Note on the growing the Marshall business to match its brand recognition, said it was ready to overinvest in the Marshall brand image in its efforts to increase revenues and market share. Obviously, you have a new person here, new head honcho. They have to do what they can to show that the business is growing and it was worth it to buy them. We are in a $100 billion industry. We have less than 1%, and we are Marshall. We can fairly quickly become a $3 billion company, and that will only be 3%. We are one of the very few global iconic brands that is widely known and attached to certain aspects of culture. It sounds ambitious, but with the brand that we have, I have no concern about us becoming a multi-billion-dollar company. So it sounds like they're just going to keep going along. They're not getting rid of the amps. They're going to keep manufacturing them. You will see tube amps, probably very expensive ones as well. You will see them probably try to get some artists on board. Let's see here if we go... Whoop, no, wrong page here. Amps. Let's see. Products. So, yes, amps again. So you got the Studio, the Origin, DSL, Code, vintage reissues, acoustic, hand-wired, micro. They're still rocking the old micro amp, which I was not aware of. MG Gold. So we do actually have the MG series. Looks like I want to say they've gotten rid of the head. Yeah, they have. So this is kind of like your student line. So I mean, they have a wide variety of amps. They have, your special boutique amps. They have your beginner style. They have your travel style. The only thing they don't really have, I would say, is the modulars. They don't have a modular unit yet. They have a couple of guitar pedals, and I think that would be going the right direction based on what everybody wants. I can also see maybe making kind of doing what PV did with a few of their amps, making minis. A lot of people like the minis. Like there's like the PV 6505 mini, for example. I'm not sure if they're still making that, but they could make a smaller version. Like a switchable 1, 5, and 15 watt version of like a JVM or one of the vintage reissues. They could even do it with an acoustic. I don't know if they will. I don't know a lot of people that buy acoustic amps. They could make a very scaled down version of a Code. I'm trying to see here because I think they are combos. There was a head. At one point. I don't know if that's still a thing. We can see here vintage reissues, JVM, DSL. Maybe it might be under. I know DSL is kind of something that people are iffy about. Let's see here if there's a bigger DSL 40, DSL 100 head. Now, are these tubes? I don't remember if these are actually tube heads or not. We'll go ahead and click through. Yes, this is a tube amp. These are something that I haven't heard bad things. I haven't heard good things about them either, really. They're just I hate to say they're just kind of there, more of a modern take, I think. But hopefully Marshall keeps going. That's all I can really say. You know, it seems like the new chief exec is optimistic. I'm going to try to be optimistic here too because, you know, Marshall was my first big boy amp. And I'd like to buy another Marshall in the future as well if I can find one, whether it's a tube or a digital, or maybe, you know, if they get a modular system, maybe that'll be my first modular system because I could use one. I don't have any small amps. I have one small practice amp. It's technically a bass amp, and it does not sound the best when plugging a guitar into it. So I think I will just kind of leave you with that. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think Marshall should do in the future. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll actually view this video, look at your comments, and apply that to their product line. But I'm sure they have some big master plan for 2024, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see them pop up at NAMM here and there as well, whether it be the winter one or the summer one with some crazy new products that hopefully we can all drool over a little bit. Other than that, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, share, and as always, have a good one.